ever since the release of Modern Warfare's 2019 and then Warzone in March of 10th of 2020, we've been dealing with an absolute crap ton of attachments. And so one of the biggest things that has always been asked of me, and I'm sure of every other major content creator and miner, is how do you build the weapons? Well, today I've decided to take a first step into a guide for you all on how to build your weapons in Warzone, and today I'm going to give you the best 5 attachments for any SMG. This is going to be part of a series that's going to cover all of the best attachments for each weapon type, and then I'm going to go more into how to do better on your builds and building for your situation and your play style. But first, again, best 5 attachments for any SMG. So I'm going to have right here in front of you the AMR. The AMR is obviously one of the SMGs in the game. It kind of does a little bit of everything, and so I think this will be a great one to start with to pretty much just show you how anything can really help anything if you know what to build with. So the first one that I'm going to tell you about is the Bruen Bastion grip. The Bruen Bastion grip is very, very useful. It does a lot of things, and it's going to be probably one of the best grips that you can just throw on if you have no other idea about what you're trying to do for an SMG. Offering hip fire and tack stance, aiming idle sway, firing aim stability, and aim walking steadiness. So first thing, all SMGs benefit from hip fire and tack stance because you are generally going to be in close quarter fights with them, so the ability to be more accurate in both hip fire and tack stance is amazing. Aiming idle sway means you'll be able to take the longer shots easier. This one also features a 10% bonus to your recoil gun kick, which is extremely useful for keeping your sights on target. And then the big one at the end is the aim walking steadiness, means you can strafe around corners while using this and get less wobble. Overall, I think this is one of the most utilitarian foregrips. For SMGs, it actually works extremely well for ARs as well. But this is one that if you don't know what you're doing to what you're going to be building for, most of all, I would start with this grip. Now, the second one is going to be the Zimon compensated flash. This by far has been one of the most meta-defining attachments since the release of the JAK BFB that got absolutely nerfed into the ground. The Zimon compensated flash is one of the best attachments that you can have in the game. It offers shortened pings on the radar, which means you are going to still show up on the radar, but you're going to disappear quickly, which means better chances at attacking, moving away, and getting back in. Vertical recoil control and horizontal recoil control, both which are, of course, super useful for staying on target, and then more firing aim stability. One of the best stats in the game, especially if you're a keyboard and mouse player, because firing aim stability on keyboard and mouse is absolutely atrocious to have your sights and your gun wobble completely. This helps fix that. So not only are you getting rid of the actual recoil, but the visual recoil as well, making this one of the best in the game. You do lose bullet velocity and ADS speed, but the vertical recoil control on this one is one of the best. Horizontal is really good. And comboing it with something like the Bruen Bastion angle grip, you get a little bit of everything that you might need. Again, amazing, amazing option. Now, like the SMG's compensated flash and the JAK BFB that got nerfed to the ground, the SMGs also received the Tribush break, and this is number 3. So this is basically the SMG's equivalent of the JAK BFB while still working well. So the Tribush break gives you the 25% on the recoil gun kick, 15% on the horizontal and vertical. So this is going to be just for absolutely just nerfing your recoil to the floor. It's a very good one. It gives you almost all the benefits from the JAK BFB without the absolute nerfing of your bullet velocity, ADS speed, movement speed, sprint to fire speed. It takes a little bit of range and a little bit of ADS speed, but significantly better overall than the JAK BFB, especially in the SMG category. Now we're going to be looking at one of our best sights, and that is the JAK glassless. Again, similar to the Zimon compensated flash and the Bruen Bastion grip, this one is going to give you firing aim stability. Comboing all 3 of these together should remove almost all visual recoil from your gun, allowing you to be just accurate and not run into any of the issues of visual clutter. Now, again, with the JAK glassless, it is a open sight. It is, again, glassless. It is just a dot, super easy to see, super easy to use, and I recommend it on almost any gun. But again, very much so on SMGs because they benefit from it highly. And now we're gonna go into the fifth, and I think one of the best attachments in the game right now. There's two versions of it. We have the FSS Spectre microtherm. Now, the base version of it is the white on black thermal, and it is going to be either your best friend or your biggest enemy. It is not always the most reliable because people are not always a fan of that black and white thermal look, but it is even a sight that even with cold-blooded, you'll still be able to see people through the smoke, which makes this extremely broken. And then, if you are in the pay-to-win crowd, there is the Atomic Disintegrator, and this comes from the Fallout bundle. So if you've got a couple of bucks and you want to buy the best optic in the game, you can buy the Fallout bundle, and it drops the FSS Spectre right here in a extremely clean, no clutter, beautiful sight with the hot spots for the players and a very easy to see, very easy to use optic. This is by far the most pay-to-win thing that we've been given inside the game in the Urzikstan era. And by far, I don't really believe that they should have released it like this unless they were going to give it as an option for everybody. But here it is, the FSS Spectre microtherm. It is absolutely leaps and bounds better than almost every other thing that you can run as a sight in the game, especially right now in the meta where it has been since Urzikstan came out, is smokes. Smoke is the meta all the time. It's actually been the meta since all the way back in Al-Mazrah in Warzone 2.0. Smokes have always been strong, but when Urzikstan came out, it was even stronger, and at this point, if they don't do something to nerf the smokes, I'm just recommending that everybody runs the FSS Spectre microtherm. You can run cold-blooded, and if you've got something sort of hot behind you, you've got like a thermite or a Molotov or the gas, they won't be able to see you as easy. But even if you're running cold-blooded, again, you're going to still show up on it. So if you are trying to move through the smoke, you better hope that they don't have one of these. Or run one yourself and try to catch them off guard when they think that you're trying to run away in the smoke and just burn them to the floor. As a caveat, one of the things to note, both as a console player or a controller player and versus a keyboard and mouse player, smoke removes aim assist. So if you're running this sight and you can't hit anything inside of it, you're probably relying too much on your aim assist. This sight will not only train you to get better aim if you're on controller, but also if you are playing on keyboard and mouse and you know you're about to get absolutely abused by aim assist, this sight plus smokes equals an absolute hilarious moment as you watch people spin circles trying to figure out why they can't track you. Again, the most broken sight in the game. Granted, you can run the other one that is the base version, and it's just as good, but not as clean. So that is something that you're gonna have to consider when you are looking at this, but by and far, best sight in the game. Now, obviously, if you are an SMG player, you might be running snipers. Snipers are in a massively strong spot inside of Warzone right now, especially with the return of the Kar98. Even though it's been nerfed twice, obviously, if you are a good sniper, that won't stop you. Or if you're like me and you are a Moors addict, or you like to run the Stalker or the Cat, snipers are in a really good spot right now. And honestly, if you are looking for a build for that one, look no further, because I've got builds for you and my settings right over here. But enjoy the video. See you soon.